Hi there, folks. This is April Lindevald. Many of you know me from my Merlin channels and also from pop-up tarot readings that I've done on Ascension and 5D, now 5D. And I'm been a tag team member and a tag member for several years now. And I'd like to sort of advertise the fact that I have, over the pandemic, I taught some classes in tarot, uh, for beginner level, but also for anybody who wants to refresh their knowledge of the tarot and also get a deeper understanding perhaps of some of the cards. And it's coming from my 30 years of experience using it as a divining tool and my own sort of slant on, especially the beginning deck that most people start with, which is the Rider Waite or Universal Weight card, where the artwork was expertly designed and executed by Pamela Coleman Smith. So I'm going to be doing another class. Rachel has encouraged me to do another Zoom class, and she's sponsoring me through her website. And you will see there, if you're interested at all in registering or just in finding out more, you can check out Soundwaves Heal, her website, .as.me/tarot, and find out. We're going to do it on Sunday afternoons, and the first 6 sessions will be an hour on a Sunday afternoon. And then there'll be 2 Sundays where we'll have a 2-hour session with a little more experiential practice. And this is so that we can get in 10 hours to cover the entire Rider Waite deck in detail, and all your questions and a little bit of practice and a little bit of lore about the tarot in 10 hours, basically, before Thanksgiving, between October 1st and Thanksgiving. So if you're interested in something like that, or if you know anybody who might be excited about learning a deeper relationship with their cards, then have them check that out there, or they could message me on Facebook and I can answer any questions that they have. In the meantime, I want to offer you this little pop-up reading to sort of give you an idea of what can be done with these cards and how they can be interpreted for your own benefit as well as for somebody else you might be reading for. So the first thing I want to do is do a little reading for this whole group. Anybody who might watch this at any time, I asked my guides to provide cards that would basically give them a sort of a past, present, and future idea of what they should focus their attention on, what's going on for them, and where they can um, concentrate so that they can get the best leverage for their lives. So the first card that I picked from the Rider Waite deck is the past. And the past is, with tarot, the energies that they're reading are not usually long. So maybe 3 to 6 months in the past, what's been going on, how do we get here, what's been going on behind the scenes. And I get this card, which is a sword card. Swords are one of the 4 suits that are involved with tarot. And the swords are a suit that has to do with mental energy, with thought, but also with lessons that come with pain or release or cutting things loose or letting things go or having to cut, sort of like suffer through something to learn something better. And you can see this is a kind of a grim colored card. It's kind of gray and it looks like somebody's dead. And the 3, it's a 4. 4 is the number of building something, of building a foundation for the future, which makes sense because this is a card of the past. How did it set the stage for where we are now? And we see that a lot of the colors are very muted and there's a lot of stillness here. And one of the swords, there's 3 swords hanging on the wall, and one is like below the main character who seems to be dead or asleep. And in fact, we do want to interpret that as being sort of asleep or unconscious or having a period of pause. So this is saying that during this whole summer and maybe before that, the spring and the summer, many of the people who are watching this now have gone through some kind of a period of pause, of having to sort of step back out of the hasty running around of their lives and rethink things. More contemplation, more leisure, more going within, more study, more spiritual, more meditation, and the stopping. And it could have been done by choice or it could have been done by force. In other words, if an injury or a sickness laid you low, or you lost your job, or you felt like the need to just back up and reassess because your life wasn't working, it was all purposeful. It was all so that you could think with the swords. Take the sword, Michael's sword of cutting you loose from all old stuff that's been holding you back and holding you down, and also the sort of clear thought, clear thinking and planning for the future, so that you can do this all mentally and in your imagination to set the stage for the future before you took any hasty actions that might have bad consequences. And we see in this little corner here, here is somebody receiving a blessing in a very colorful stained glass window. And so this is where you're headed. This is the dream. This is the vision of receiving a blessing and going on your way with red. This person has red outfit on, which is action. So before you take the action is in the picture for the future. Before you take action, you needed to pause. You needed to go within. You needed to receive guidance. You needed to think and concentrate and figure it all out. So what comes next? That's now what's going on right this minute. Well, right now, this is really interesting. We get the Fool card. The Fool is a major arcana card, and major arcana cards do not belong to the four suits. Four suits are in a tarot deck much like in a poker deck. They all have a quality, and they have from 1 to 10, and then the royalty cards. But the major arcana has 21 cards and a 0 card. This is the 0 card, so it's 22 cards, which are more powerful. They're more cosmic. They have a name. They don't belong to a suit. They don't have a number. They have a quality of their own. And the Fool card is the very first one. And you can see there's a certain innocence about it. It's very bright. The sun is rising, and it's put in a corner. It's not on top. It's put in a corner so that it always is rising. It's perpetually rising. It's like an optimistic card because there's always something wonderful and new that's rising, always a hopeful possibility, a potential there. And he's looking up. He's looking up because he's not afraid. He's right on a cliff. Look at that precipice there. I mean, oh my God, you could fall down there and be mashed in a million pieces. But he's looking up because he believes that he's going to step off the edge and fly or be caught, or something's going to catch him. It's tremendous optimism. It's the ability to take a risk and to move into the unknown with complete faith that something is going to carry you, someone is going to carry you. This is the soul. It's the soul taking its journey into embodiment. On the most cosmic level, that's what this card is. It's about starting this journey in an incarnation on Earth. But in everyday life, it can be for us the fearlessness, the innocence, the belief that we are held, that we are supported by the cosmos, by spirit. We are taken care of. Our needs are met if we take bold steps, small steps, sometimes baby steps, but steps in a direction with faith. And people will call us a fool. That's why it's called the Fool card. They'll say, you're foolish. What are you going into the unknown for when you have a perfectly good job or a perfectly good marriage or a perfectly good life? Why do you want to disrupt the whole thing and step into the unknown? Well, because you feel called to do so, and because it's a higher calling, and because taking a risk is part of growth and a part of achieving a higher place, even a higher good. And we can see he holds in his hand like that wallet on the stick. That's his memories of past experience and past lives. And the rose in his hand is a reminder that he is a spirit in a body. And the little spirit dog at the bottom nipping at his heels, encouraging him to go for it. So you went from a period of contemplation and of rest and thinking and less action and more inner development and getting ready for something. And then the Fool getting ready to leap off a cliff or do something you've always wanted to do, or that you've been called to do and have been a little afraid to do, but now you have the faith to do it because you know you're supported by the universe. And what results from that in the future? Well, here's the first thing. I'm going to have 4 cards in this spread because this one, the third card for the future, is a beautiful card, but it kind of leaves you a little bit in limbo. It's Wands. Now, Wands is a very exciting suit because it's passion. It's what you're passionate about. It's fire. It represents a fire sign and life, like the essence of life, the life force, the sun flowing through your veins. Wands are growing, but they're separate here, but they all have living leaves on them. They're alive. There's quick to them. And this is a 9. A 9 is the number of finishing up something, of the end of an era, the end of something where you tie up all the loose ends and you get ready to do something completely new, a new chapter. You're leaping into a new chapter. And look at this guy. This is probably all of us. The ones there represent either things he's tried or things he's fought against or struggled with or dealt with, but he's holding on to the thing that he has decided is really important for him. And he's wounded and bloodied, and he's got an expression that's kind of like set and determined. So yeah, we've been through a lot. Most of us have been around this earth for a while, and we've encountered a lot of loss and a lot of disappointment and a lot of struggles. And sometimes we've triumphed and sometimes we've just lost. And sometimes we get very tired and we think, oh my God, I can't do this again. But you know what? You never lose, if you don't lose that childlike innocence and that hopefulness, that wonder that will lead you to new vistas and new possibilities that the fool has to leap into. You're still carrying with you the lessons you've learned from all of this, and you still may be weary and bloodied and bowed, but the life of those wands is saying to you, finish up what you were doing before and move on to number 10. 10 is in your new chapter. And know that you've triumphed here. Know that you're done. Know that you've stood them all up. You know what you want. You know where you're going. And you've accomplished something here. It's not chaos. It's all orderly. And you can turn your back and leave and move on to the next thing. So I didn't want to leave you with that. And I picked the 4th card to see what the further future was. What happens once you decide you're definitely going to wrap up the past, move to a new chapter, and take the risk that the fool asks you to take? And what happens when you acknowledge that you're a little bit bloodied and bowed, but you're going to do it anyway and have faith? Well, look what you get. You get another major arcana card. You get strength. And your strength is to keep going on, and to have confidence. And again, it's a very sunny, beautiful card. And it's one of only 2 in the deck that have the lemniscate over the person's head. That is that infinity sign. The infinity sign is about being an eternal being, but it's also a very potent symbol of how we do magic in this world, how we succeed, because each one of those loops, one loop is the past, one loop is the future. And a lot of us, human beings tend to live either in the past or the future. We obsess about all the things we did, all the things we said, all the things we could have done differently or said differently, or, what if we had, or what if we didn't, or whatever. And then the future, what's going to happen? What if we do this? What if so-and-so doesn't like me? What if it doesn't happen? What if I don't get this job? What if, we're just always obsessing about those 2 things. But where we can make a real difference is at the confluence there in the center. That's the magic place. The magic place is now, in the moment. Where are we in the moment? What are we thinking? What are we saying to ourselves? What story are we telling? What power do we have to change the direction at this nexus point? And look at this strength. She's clothed in white. She's aware of her spiritual power, but she's draped in flowers, which is all about the fertility and creativity of doing things in the real world. And look what she's doing. Now, the lion there, it's sort of like a Beauty and the Beast card. You have to love the beast. You have to deal with the beast in order to get the prince. But this card, I used to think she was using gentle force to close the mouth of the lion so that he wouldn't be so fearful. But cat lovers in my class said to me, no, that's not what she's doing. She's scratching under his chin and on his nose. She's making friends with him. And I tend to believe that. I tend to believe it's when we embrace the sort of, we have to embrace our fierceness and our nature of, like, I don't want to say bestial nature, but like, we embrace our shadow, we embrace our fierceness, and we embrace, the fact that we're in a body here, we're here on earth, but we're still in our white garb. We still know that we're spirit. And look at her face. It's very serene. And she's not yelling at him. She's not throwing a stick at him. She's not poking him. She's not hitting him. She's not hurting him. She's embracing him. She's scratching him. She's making friends with him. Strength is it's not about who yells the loudest or who has the biggest weapon. Strength is outlasting your competition. Strength is quiet knowing of the truth and of who you are and of what you are capable of, and of insistence on that, and of faith. And so you will have, if you take that risk, no matter how bloodied and bowed you've been, no matter what you've been through, no matter how long it's been that you had to stand back and think about it, you're ready now. You're ready now to take a few moves in the direction of your dreams. Take a risk. Don't listen to the people who call you a fool. And you will not only be supported and caught by the universe, but you will be given the strength to persist and to go forward. So it's an amazing reading, and it probably applies to most of us. Now, also, since I'm sort of like putting my teacher hat on here, I wanted to give you a pop-up sort of interpretation of one of my favorite cards. It's the Tower. Yeah, one of my favorite cards. It's the ugliest one in the deck. It's the scariest one in the deck. If you get this in a reading, most people, most of my clients, if they get this, they're just like, no, please, no. It is a very scary card. It is a major arcana card. It is number 16. I was born on the 16th of June. So in a way, this is like the story of my life. But this is a 7. 7 is the number of magic and manifestation. So there is a hidden agenda here that is scary but positive, as most of these cards are. See, look at the Tower. It's black. It's miserable. Lightning is hitting it. It had a crown on it, but now it's burning. All of the people in it are being thrown to their, who knows, they're thrown out headlong into the void and darkness and clouds. But notice there's a couple things here. First of all, there's all these little yellow blobs everywhere. See that? Those are called yods. It's a Hebrew letter, yod, and it's gold. And it appears in many of the major arcana cards. Pamela Coleman Smith put it there. It is a Jewish symbol for life and life abundantly. And what this is showing is that this disaster, whatever this disaster is that's breaking down everything here, has released a flood of abundant life that is really going to be positive for these people. So let me explain that. Human beings have two different sort of like motivating forces. And one is the force for safety and protection. So we do what we're supposed to. We do what we think we're supposed to do all our lives. We follow the rules. We obey our parents. We go to a good school. We get an education. We get a job. We pay for ourselves. We get self-sufficient. Maybe we get married, have a kid, do whatever we're supposed to do, and do everything by the right way. And then we start to go, I feel like I'm trapped. I'm in prison. I need a midlife crisis because now I have a mortgage and now I have all these responsibilities and now I have chores and I feel like I can't express myself. And the whole thing is like, what for? So that is the impulse to build a tower. We build ourselves into a tower. We build our ivory tower, everything we were told we were supposed to have to be happy, and then it doesn't fulfill us. And then we have the impulse to break free for freedom. And that impulse is to sort of like jump the fence and go running around wild and be self-expressive and have adventures and be the boss of our own time and our own money and our own things and not have all those burdens and responsibilities. Well, neither one of them by themselves works very well, as we can tell. You don't want to feel like you're completely trapped and run by your responsibilities, but you also don't want to feel like you can't be lawless and run around and let people down, and do whatever the heck you want, even if it harms others. So the whole point here is with the Tower, it's showing that most people who get to the place where they are feeling trapped, stuck, unhappy, they will not change anything. You can give them advice till you're blue in the face, but they won't change anything on their own because they're scared. I can't quit that job. I've been complaining about my job for years, but I can't quit it because then what? Then I won't have any money. I won't have any sustenance. I won't be able to support myself and my family. I have a mortgage. Okay, fine. They don't trust that something else will appear, or they don't even take a step out and look around, or their abusive marriage, or their health issues that they won't address because they don't want to change their diet or their exercise patterns or their doctor or whatever. All of these things that we say, I'm sorry, I hate this, but I can't make a change because I'm stuck and I don't have anywhere to go. Well, so God is listening. The universe is listening. Your soul is listening and doesn't want you to be trapped. Doesn't want you to be stuck in a dead end for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, if you're very stubborn and you don't, first the universe knocks you on the head a little. here's a clue. This isn't going well. You should make a change. But if you don't do it, they'll knock harder. Bang, bang, bang. I'm pushing you really hard here. This is an untenable situation. You got to make a change here. Well, if you don't listen to that, you get the tower. You get the tower, you get a disaster. Now, a disaster can be anything. This big thing is very impressive looking, but it could be anything from huge, from like a divorce to an accident to an illness, catastrophic illness, or somebody you love passing away, but it could also be quiet. It could be inside. It could be, like I said, a midlife crisis, or the dark night of the soul, or questioning the existence of God, or any of those things that lead you to a huge, like, boom, I'm at the wall, and I'm everything I believed in, everything I thought my life was going to be, everything I thought was going to make me happy is now upside down. I'm falling. I'm in free fall. I don't know what happens next. But guess what happens? It cracks open all of that stuckness. And so the 16 is the magic and manifestation of your desires that have been expressed in your complaining. And when you're thrown out of it forcibly by the universe, you have to deal with it, and you have to look at options finally to how you can change your life for the better, how you can listen for guidance to get you on the right road back again, and how you can have life and life abundantly that you had denied to yourself by walling yourself up in a perfect little tower. So that is my interpretation of that card. I hope it intrigues you. I hope it gets you excited and inspired to maybe take a class, or to look at them yourself and just kind of play with them and see what you get yourself. All right. Thanks so much for this minute, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.